This is Simon James McLaughlin for Palm Edit. I wanted to, in this video cast, talk to you a little bit about the Waterfield case. I've had it now for probably about a week or so, and I just wanted to tell you that even though it's an iPad case, it actually does fit nicely my MacBook Air into the case. And I know I showed you very, very briefly at the weekend how this works, but I want to just show you in a little bit more detail what I've been packing in there and how it's been fitting all my equipment in. Main devices that I have in, or that I've been carrying in, is iPad, the MacBook Air, and my iPhone backup battery from the guys at USB Fever. So what I'm going to try and do is just show you, because I've had a few questions, and just try and answer some of the questions that have been coming in. One of the questions was just how many compartments does it actually have? Now we have this compartment here, we have the main central compartment, we also have another pocket kind of sleeve there. I don't know if you can actually see that. We have a pocket sleeve just there, you might see it now with a bit more light. And then on the reverse of the case we have a sleeve here. It's just more of a net sleeve, so you can put some documentation, some paperwork in there. The main compartment, I've tend to be using that to actually pack in the MacBook Air, because the MacBook Air just really fits it in nicely. So that's the 11-inch MacBook Air. I would say the 13-inch MacBook Air is going to struggle somewhat, but the 11-inch MacBook Air, that just fits in really nicely. And then in this compartment here, I've actually slid in the iPad, which kind of goes in nice and neatly and snugly. So the MacBook Air goes in this compartment here, the 11-inch, so the iPad will actually fit into this compartment. At the back, in this compartment here, this one, I've actually fitted in the backup battery for my iPhone and cables to power my iPhone, or USB. You know, the USB cable that connects it to my Mac, and that's fitted in this back compartment. So, and then here in the net compartment, I've put in some documentation that I carry around with me. So these are the compartments that we've got. Now, another question is, what is the padding made of? Well, it's a kind of felt material, which you can see there. Oh, I've missed out another compartment. There's another one, I think. Yeah, there's this one here. You've got this compartment. This actually is where I put my cables. I do beg your pardon. This is actually where I put my cables, and you can just see there, and you might be able to see it. I've got a cable just there. That's the cable for this, the backup battery. That kind of goes into there. Now, the actual padding is made out of a kind of a velvet, and it really is quite thick. I would say that it's thick enough to protect the iPad and the MacBook Air. I feel confident with the padding in this. It really is. It's pretty good padding, to say the least. And this is kind of made out of I don't know, like it's a fabric. It's quality. It's a really good quality, sturdy feel to it. When the MacBook and the iPad are actually in this, it actually isn't that thick. You can see that's what it looks like. It's quite thin without the devices in there. And then you have, as I mentioned, you have this kind of worn leather border that goes around the back and the sides. So I'm just going to try and put my MacBook Air into this so you can just see how it kind of works. And again, I don't have my assistant in to show you how this is done. So let me just put the camera down, and then I'll just be able to show you how this works. So you can just see MacBook Air fits in nicely into the case. And you know, you've got room there to breathe, but it's also kind of snug as well. And you can see there, let me just put the cables away in the compartment, and it's nice, tight, and snug. And then the iPad itself, well, that would just very easily just slide in per se. Look at that. Nice and neatly, nice and tightly. So I have the iPad, and then in the main compartment we have the MacBook Air fitting in nicely. There's a little bit of room around, but not much, so it's all nice and snug. And then what I do is then I just get my backup battery, and that would just go nice and neatly. I can just do this now. Go nice and neatly in, and then I can zip it up. So we have, just take that out for 1 second because I've got cables in there. So we have the MacBook Air, and then we have the iPad, and that is all we need. And then we can just zip this up very easily. There we go. It's a little bit difficult to do this with one hand, so we'll try and get this. There we go. Nice and sealed. So, the Waterfield case, holding my iPad and holding in the MacBook Air, and you can just see it's not too thick, it's pretty slim, and most of all it's very, very safe. And then that will do nicely, it'll hold nicely in my bag or my travel bag, and you can get this from Waterfield. So that was a surprise, the fact that I was able to put in my MacBook Air, my 11-inch MacBook Air, when it really is only designed for the iPad. So I'm kind of pleased that I can actually get all my mobile devices in this. And also, when I'm not using the iPhone, that can also go in here too, because I've carried the iPhone in this. So it houses my iPhone, it houses my iPad, and it also houses my MacBook Air. Okay, Simon James McLaughlin, just quickly showing you that the Waterfield case can hold more than just the iPad.